So in this plea bargain, right? Here's what happened was that I went in and I represented myself. I told them, listen, yes, there was a criminal offense created, but it wasn't by me. It was by the lender who sent my bill of exchange to the bank. So it made criminal offense, and then I was facing 50 years. Now I'm just kind of rehashing, but make sure we're on the right track here. So when I faced the 50, when I came out, I said, okay, here's the plea bargain. We'll give you $450 fine and 18 months probation. And I said to myself, well, dang, y'all take that as opposed to 50 years. And I shouldn't have took that either, but the point is I had a family to feed and things like that. So I said, well, I got to get out here. I got to feed my family. I got rent. I'm still a slave on the plantation out here, so I got to get back to master and be able to satisfy master's requirements. So I guess you could say I sold out in that regard. But the point is that $450 fine and an 18-month probation, I think the judge knew I was right all along, but he just wanted to get something out of me. Now here's the trick of it. If you go back and look at that case, the $450 fine, once I paid the $450 fine, I've been off probation. The 18 months, when you go in excess of 12 months, is automatically a felony, okay? So therefore, I asked the judge, I said, so if I pay the $450 fine today, I won't be on probation? Correct. Just as soon as the $450 is paid, then I'm off probation. So I may have took maybe a couple of months just trying to think, well, I'm gonna appeal it or not, and just paid, but got the $450 paid off, and then I was off probation, so it didn't take no 18 months or 12 months or whatever. So that was the fine. I think they just had that was like a, kind of like what they would call a token gesture on the court's behalf, just to say, well, listen, we had to get you for something. Because they knew what I was explaining to them was correct. This look at the Constitution. Listen, people understand the Constitution. If you really read it, and it is fractured, believe me. I mean, it's a Federalist Constitution. I sided with the Ant-Federalists. Okay, these were the people that were against what George Washington, John Adams, Alexander Hamilton, and them were doing. These were like the people like Patrick Henry. Thomas Jefferson was kind of like a buffer between the two, but he sided more with the Ant-Federalists. Thomas Paine, Patrick Henry, Luther Martin, and others who were known Ant-Federalists. These were people that were against the establishment of this Constitution. They even wanted slavery to end, okay? But of course we don't hear about them, okay? So we have to create alliances, even inside the white establishment, in order to make some things happen. And so from any realm, whether from a biblical perspective, that's where you come in, constitutional perspective, or you're just an average person, they're attacking all of us, okay? And we are financing them attacking us. If you go read a document called the Hazard Circular, please read that. That was formed out of the bankers in England around the time of the Civil War. They wanted to get rid of slavery a long time ago. That physical slavery was dangerous for them, okay? Because most times the slaves on the plantation outnumbered the masters, okay? So the slaves could have had revolts anytime they wanted. It's just that we're just such a kind-hearted people at times for the wrong reasons. We should have been leading rebellions as much as we could in slavery. The Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, Harriet Tubman with the Underground Railroad, Sojourner Truth, and all of them. We needed more of them. The only reason why that slavery lasted for 300 years is because we weren't rising up like we should have. Okay, I've got to mention Toussaint Louverture and Boukman and the Haitian Revolution as well. But it only went on that long. Kanye West said it looked like it was what did he say? It looks like it was a choice. And really, in reality, he's right. Okay?
Oh, not it was. Kanye. Well, yeah, Kanye did say that.
Yeah, and he may not have been choice. Yeah, he may not have been historically sound on that, but the point is, he was right. We could rose up at any time into slavery, okay, in this country, and we can rise up right now anytime we want in these conditions that we have. It's just most of us are scared. The Hazard Circular said we got to get rid of this physical slavery because these slaves are going to start to rebel. It's dangerous for our white citizens in these colonies. We're gonna have to get rid of this form of slavery. So they were behind this Emancipation Proclamation that came out towards the end of the war to go ahead and free the slaves because they wanted to create a new type of slavery, okay? They wanted to bring in the slavery that we currently exist under. Harriet Tubman made a great statement. Harriet Tubman said, I would have freed more slaves, but most of them didn't think they were slaves. Out of the millions of slaves, I believe it was 3 to 4 million slaves in the South. Do you know how many they freed? How many Harriet Tubman helped free in the Underground Railroad?
No.
300. 300 was all. She said she would have freed more, but most of them didn't think they were slaves. But I'm trying to say that point because the same thing is happening today. We got revolutionary organizations like O'Malley, we got the NAACP, we got CORE, we got a lot of different organizations that's approaching it from a different perspective. I think the most effective perspective is the revolutionary approach. But if you want to use the administrative perspective, then that's cool too. But the point is, let's work together in doing that, because we are financing and carrying out the goals of what the hazardous circular established back in the 1860s, was that they wanted to get rid of physical slavery and create a new type of slavery called this wage slavery, okay, where the slave finances their own enslavement. Back then, they took care of the slave, they fed them, they clothed them, they gave them the health care, everything. With now, we have to do that ourselves. We slaves have to do that ourselves with the pittance that they give us. We're accepting it. We're accepting it. Mark Twain said, if the people in this country ever understood how the banking system works, there'll be a revolution overnight. That's why I'm so adamant about people understanding history, okay? Don't just throw it aside, okay? Let's look at what the elders of the past have done. These people were not ignoramuses, and they had good intentions. Maybe they did make mistakes, but it's our job to go back and review what they've done first, and then make the adequate adjustments now so that we can make the necessary changes to free ourselves. We have to free ourselves.